Welcome to Paranormal Possibilities, where we talk about what is possible, what is probable, and what is unlikely. The office where you work is cleared out for the evening. The report you stayed late to finish has been completed, and as you log out for the night, you glance around the office space. The windows behind you are dark, the hallways are empty, the streets are quiet. As you reach the parking garage, you begin to feel like somebody is watching you from the shadows. Everywhere you turn seems wrong. For reasons you can't explain, you subconsciously increase your pace. Your breath quickens. Your pupils widen as you scan your surroundings on high alert. The mundane world, when filled with friends, coworkers, and strangers, seems real, tangible. Yet at this hour, in this place, loneliness presses in, heavy and dense. Your car is just ahead, and the drive home gives you time to forget your sudden anxiety over nothing at all. But when you reach your apartment, the hallways too are abandoned, as if you're the last person on earth. You consider whistling to break the silence, but wave off the attempt as you move deeper into the building. Your front door is inviting you home, and while you never admit it, you are secretly grateful you made it home alive. What is it about the abandoned or empty spaces that puts us on edge? There's an unspoken dread when we enter a location, even a familiar one, that is dark and quiet. It's why the Backrooms is such a compelling concept. Are there truly liminal spaces out there between realities? The corridors and connective tissue between dimensions? Are there places where a misstep can vault you into another space, where everything is simultaneously familiar and completely unnerving? Humans for much of our history have had to worry about predators in the fields, lurking in the shadows, waiting to ambush us. Lions and tigers and bears, oh my. Our forebears, who survived predation, did so by being on high alert. Situational awareness and a keen perception of anything out of place or just slightly off are earned abilities of a species that had to learn the hard way not to turn your back to the noise in the forest or drink from the opaque, still water. As modern life has separated us from the need for many of those early warning indicators, we cannot remove millions of years of hardwired code that screams, "This is how we survive." Like all social creatures, mankind understands that there is safety in numbers. Like a school of fish, we typically feel most at ease when many others are around, also in a relaxed state. It's the only time some people truly feel safe, even if they don't understand why. Liminal spaces mirror the ordinary. Hallways lit in a buzzy fluorescent glow, leading to places beyond our line of sight, narrow, claustrophobic passageways where the only direction is forward or backward seem to heighten our senses. Abandoned buildings, decay, and nature's constant reclamation quietly whisper a memento mori. Time is fleeting, everything dies, including me and you. So it is easy to understand the idea that liminal spaces are a construct of our instinct to be on alert when we're alone and vulnerable. A normal office you spend most of your waking life in doesn't feel wrong until it is empty, until you are all that is left. Then suddenly you begin to realize just how off everything feels. Are liminal spaces real? Are there really hollow walls in between realities? A dimensional divide full of darkness where limbo reigns supreme and unknowable intelligences shuffle forward via incomprehensible ambulation? There are many stories of such places. It shows up all over fiction and folklore. In modern times, we have films and novels that invite us to experience, safely from a distance, I might add, these back rooms. Stephen King calls it todash space in the Dark Tower books, and his novella The Langoliers serves it up better than almost anyone. A decaying world left behind in the near past, where an airliner full of passengers lands at an airport that has been left behind by humanity. It reveals one possibility: liminal spaces might simply be movie sets, locations where we enter stage left, go about our lives, and exit stage right, moving on to the next scene in our lives. That set might go dark, with only the sparse glow from exit signs or from overhead bulbs, meagerly trying to fill the cavernous location we just naively used and discarded. If life is a simulation, which is a topic for a future video, liminal spaces might go idle, stored like ROMs ready to awaken the next launch sequence. One can only imagine what the universe's command prompt must look like, or who sits at the keyboard of reality ready to type something or someone into existence, or out of it. In ancient times, caves were said to be liminal spaces, portals to other places and worlds. I'll be doing a video on caves in the future as well, because it isn't a coincidence how many caves are considered doorways, or haunted, or both. There have been numerous intriguing reports of liminal exploration, always involuntary on the part of the explorer. Among the most famous occurred in 1901 when two Oxford academics, Charlotte Andrew Moberly and Eleanor Jourdain, visited the gardens of Versailles. They later claimed that for a brief period the world around them changed. The gardens became strangely silent. The people they encountered wore clothing from another century, and one of the women believed she had seen none other than Marie Antoinette herself. Whether they experienced a genuine anomaly, misunderstood what they had seen, or reconstructed the memory over time has been debated for more than a century. What is not in dispute is that their account became one of history's best-known alleged time-slip cases. More recently, a street in Liverpool known as Bold Street has become famous for similar reports. Over the years, multiple people have claimed to suddenly find themselves surrounded by storefronts, automobiles, and fashions from decades past, only for everything to return to normal moments later. Skeptics point to the unreliability of memory and eyewitness testimony. Others wonder whether these stories hint at something stranger. If you're interested in an episode of either of these, let me know in the comments. Then there are the countless accounts that never made history books, but continue to circulate in local communities. Travelers describe driving into towns where every street is eerily empty, where no people can be found, and where an overwhelming feeling tells them something is profoundly wrong. They leave only to return later and discover the town bustling with life once again. Most of these stories are impossible to verify, yet the remarkable similarity between them is difficult to ignore. Were these people experiencing psychological phenomenon brought on by unfamiliar surroundings? Were they simply victims of faulty memory? Or did they briefly wander into places that exist somewhere between the ordinary world and something else entirely? The stories themselves tell us very little. They are impossible to verify, difficult to reproduce, and separated by decades, cultures, and continents. Yet they all seem to circle the same idea. A place that should be familiar suddenly isn't. A hallway, a street, a town, a cave, an airport, a place where reality seems to hesitate, if only for a moment. Perhaps that is all a liminal space really is, a place where our instincts awaken before our intellect has had time to explain why. Millions of years of evolution reminding us that being alone, exposed, and uncertain once carried a very real cost. The emptiness itself becomes the predator. Or perhaps there is something more. Perhaps there truly are places that exist between destinations, between moments, and between realities. Places we occasionally stumble into without understanding how we arrived there, only to emerge moments later convinced that something happened, even if we can never really prove it. The Backrooms may simply be the latest expression of an idea that has haunted humanity for thousands of years. Before there were fluorescent hallways and endless office buildings, there were caves believed to lead beneath the world, crossroads where spirits were said to gather, forests where travelers vanished, and roads that no one would walk after sunset. Every generation seems to discover its own liminal space. The scenery changes, but the feeling does not. Maybe liminal spaces exist only in our minds. Maybe they exist somewhere just beyond them. So the next time you find yourself alone in an empty hotel corridor, an abandoned parking garage, or a silent office building long after everyone else has gone home, pay attention to what your instincts are telling you. Because whether that feeling comes from ancient survival instincts, from psychology, or from something we have yet to understand, you'll probably find yourself walking just a little bit faster. Thank you for watching Paranormal Possibilities. If you enjoyed this exploration, please consider liking and subscribing so you don't miss future episodes as we continue to examine what is possible, what is probable, and what is unlikely. Until next time, remember, the possibilities are endless.